Former CIA Director James Woolsey is here, and I don't know if do you think those are just do you understand the way people feel when they tell us that?
Certainly, and they see San Bernardino, and they see Disney World, they see Istanbul, and they identify with the people who are there, and they're worried, and they have a good reason to be worried because the government is not doing what it should to fight terrorism domestically. And indeed, one of the most damaging things the government is doing is downplaying terrorism by the language it uses, by talking about workplace violence,
not saying Islamic radical terror
or jihad. They call themselves jihadis. Why shouldn't we call them jihadis? It's ridiculous, really. It's like a skit out of Saturday Night Live.
So you don't identify the problem, and then practically we're not doing what? What else are we missing?
You don't identify it so you can say everything's fine. Because if it's not a clear problem that you're working hard on and sometimes winning and sometimes losing, then you can continually claim the narrative. The narrative is that everything is fine.
Yeah. Now, if you were the CIA director now, did you go to the White House and say, here's what we need to do, here's what we're missing? Other than that, I mean, that's one thing, and a lot of people made that argument, and I can certainly see it, but what else would you say they're missing?
Well, we need to get together with the high-tech industry, people who control data selection, and I'm talking about the big ones, Google and Amazon and all the rest. If you put those big companies together, they know an awful lot more about you and me than the United States government does.
Are they cooperative to the extent that they need to be?
Some of them are. But they need to be put together and only the President of the United States, I think, can do this. They need to be put together, the companies and the parts of the government that are relevant, such as the National Security Agency, and come up with a common plan. They can't just each go off on his own and say, I'm protecting everybody's privacy, so I'm not going to work with the government, or say that I'm protecting everybody's civil liberties, so I'm not going to help with that.
So
You've
if
got
the
to work things
president
out.
has a meeting, hypothetically, in the Oval Office, and he has the leaders of Apple, and he's got Zuckerberg there, and so it's Tim Cook and Zuckerberg and the Google guys, and they're all there, and they say to him, Mr. President, we would love to help out, but we have people buying our products who are very concerned about security, and we can't do this because... What should the argument of the government be to convince them to say, hey, listen, you got to get on board here?
He ought to imagine himself Franklin Roosevelt on the morning of December 8th, 1941, the day after Pearl Harbor, call together the country's leading executives and say, look, we're at war. We're in a war we might lose. We have to win it. We're going to win it. You're going to do what I say, or you're going to tangle with me personally.
And do that publicly?
Well, I think I would do it privately.
Okay.
First instance.
No, I didn't know if pressuring them into that.
Well, I think they need... We don't really have leadership on this in the United States. We don't have the kind of consideration that this is a very serious problem and it's going to get worse domestically unless we do something about it. That thought is just not really present, as far as I can tell, in the government. There is some in the Congress. Some in Congress are quite worried about this, worried about such things as electromagnetic pulse knocking out the electric grid and so forth, which are
You need it at the top of the government. James Woolsey, it's always terrific to see you, and thank you for the thoughts. And it's important stuff, and especially the role of business. Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.